Hello, how are you? Are you well and healthy? We really missed you a lot. Truly missed you. In short, I was busy with some personal matters. And for a while, I was sick. The previous videos were made from under the blanket and bed covers, and we presented them to you. That's all. So, in short, it took a little while this time as well. After being sick and dealing with personal matters and being busy with work, it kept me tied up until now that I finally reached out to you. Yes, you missed us, didn't you? Didn't you? Didn't you? You didn't miss us? Maybe you were just pretending. Anyway, never mind, it's not important. It was mentioned that the news in the defense sector during this time when our video production took a bit longer had a significant gap between recording and publishing. It was so much that, in short, we fell quite behind. From the recent joint military exercise between Iran, China, and Russia to the unveiling of the new drone, and in short, it was mentioned to you that other events, like the delivery of the Masaf weapon to the Army as an organizational weapon, and the transition of the Army's organizational weapon from JASA to Masaf, and in short, 1,000 other things that I forgot to mention. When I say 1,000, I mean a lot. Today, we decided to talk about one of them, which is probably very interesting for you, and that is the unveiling of the updated and newer version of the Bavar air defense system. The Bavar system was networked with the S-300 system, and the S-300 system was used as a backup for the Bavar air defense system. The target was detected.
A very significant and strategic task at the national level, which perhaps has not been done in this combination worldwide. We have accomplished this integration. The target was detected.
This has a very subtle point, and it's very important and interesting, and in these matters, it's extremely vital that we pay more attention to it. Let me tell you. Remember when Israel attacked, they claimed to have destroyed several of our air defense systems, especially emphasizing that they hit the S-200. Of course, let me tell you, their claim wasn't entirely false, but it wasn't entirely true either. It wasn't false in the sense that they did damage the air defense system, but they didn't destroy the entire system. They destroyed the radar system of the S-200. They unveiled this, and later, when the images and videos were released, it showed that the S-200 system was intact. They had claimed that they destroyed all 4 S-200 batteries that Iran had purchased. Yes, last. This is the first point. As you saw in the images, the S-200 system is still in place, and this is an important point. But more importantly, during the Israeli attack, it's true that, well, a large portion of the missiles fired by Israeli aircraft were intercepted and destroyed, but eventually some of them did hit. It's like this everywhere in the world. It's not just our air defense systems that might let some enemy missiles slip through. We attacked Israel, which claimed to have 3 very powerful layers of air defense, from the Iron Dome to David's Sling, which is medium range, to Arrow, right? And recently they even added the THAAD air defense system, but we attacked and hit them. And interestingly, from the images that came out of inside the Israeli settlements and military bases, the intensity of the blow that Israel received was much more than what was inflicted on us. After all, there are also 4 people there who like to film. Even if they are against the Islamic Republic, they want to capture and publish the images. Well, you placed 4 radars and also a general radar. The incident that has happened now, the next point is that we say the S-300 has become the support for the Bavar 373 system. This does not mean, do not misunderstand, it does not mean that the S-300 has become, it is supposed to support the Bavar systems, meaning if, for example, the Bavar system is going to be targeted, the S-300 will confront the enemy. The term support here means that the S-300 system is also networked. We use the S-300 missiles and also use the S-300 fire units. This is what has happened. According to Amir Sabahi Fard, the commander of the Khatam Joint Air Defense Base. At the same time, the commander of the Army's Air Defense Force mentioned that this is happening for the first time in the world. Where did we identify this vulnerability? Where did this vulnerability assessment take place? It was when Israel attacked us. We realized this. We understood that if an S-300 system is supposed to send a wavelength, and that radar is specific only to that system, and if that system wants to operate alone, it will be quickly identified and targeted. We increased the radar. The next point is that in the Bavar system, in addition to the Sayyad 4 and Sayyad 4B missiles, and in addition to the active radar system of Mirage from the Bavar system, we also use a passive radar system. The passive system indeed has weaknesses compared to the active system, as it prevents the emission of wavelengths, which reduces its detection power. However, it has the advantage that it becomes harder for enemy aircraft to detect it. This means that now, in addition to using the system that we have the Mirage radar, we use it in our Bavar batteries, and we have linked our interception systems, creating a network. We have formed a battalion network to prevent or reduce the risk of the damage that could occur to us in an Israeli attack. Friends, pay attention. All defense systems have a penetration coefficient. No one can claim to stop it 100%. Come on, Israel! Claim to have the most powerful multi-layered air defense network, and then missiles rain down on them like locusts, and no one says anything. But when our 4 interception batteries radars were destroyed, everyone made noise. You who are boast, can you stop talking big if you don't have the knowledge? Can you stop talking? So what happened? Now if something happens, the risk of vulnerability of our defense systems has significantly decreased because you are using ISEC, multiple radar sources, so to speak, or you have multiple radar branches, both active and passive radars simultaneously, and a general radar as an overall radar for every, for example, 4 batteries you are using. Look, you have 4 batteries that make up a battalion. Well, previously a battalion only had 1 radar, meaning all 4 of your batteries were operating with 1 radar. Now, in addition to that, there's a general radar, and each missile battery has its own separate radar. Not to mention that the Bavar air defense system is also equipped with an organizationally integrated radar, which is a passive radar, known as the Alim radar, also used by the S-300. Our domestically produced radars are stronger than the S-300 radar, which is a very important point. But, well, the volume of attacks and the severity of the damage they saw, Meta has a habit of always saying, we are worthless. Well, what can we do now? Meta says we are worthless because they probably see themselves as worthless and tell us that we are worthless too. No, we are not worthless, but let's move on from these words. This became an experience. For us in the field of action, meaning in real conflict, we understood our weaknesses. An incident occurred during the integration of the Bavar S-373 air defense system with the S-300. We compensated for that damage. What was it? You see, because we use active radars, meaning we use the Mirage radar in the Bavar air defense system, and well, the S-300 system has its own radar, its own Russian radar, naturally. When you are using an active radar, your signal is sent towards the enemy aircraft, and the enemy aircraft also receives your signal. With today's new and modern aircraft, which have multiple layers of avionics systems, they completely track, like, and identify it. Here we understood that when we are emitting a signal towards the space with a radar system, it is possible that before we identify the enemy, or even if we do identify the enemy might act sooner than us. This is what happened in the destruction of the radar systems. The radar system is also detected earlier by the enemy aircraft. So what did we do? We used stellar technology, which means the teller system and method. You see, several fire units form a defense battalion, like I say. Each defense battalion's fire unit. For example, the Bavar 373 can include about 4 fire units. Now, in conversations I've had with friends, they mentioned that in some areas they place 2 fire units in one battalion. In some places they place 6. In others 8. And in some areas all 4. In some places they even place just 1 fire unit in a battalion. But we can roughly say that each battalion includes about 4 fire units. So we would place all 4 fire units in one battalion. A battalion would use 1 radar. What does that mean? It means that the 4 fire units we had would use, as they say, 1 radar dish for detection. The radars we used were active radars. So here, when you are working with 1 radar, when your radar is emitting a signal, it can easily be detected by the enemy. But now, if you come in and place a radar for each of the 4, 6, 8, or however many fire units that make up a battalion, which is called a taller, and then place a general radar for all of them, well, in that case, if 1 radar is detected, the next radar will still perform its duty. It will carry out the task of tracking and guiding the Sayad missile or the S-300 missile towards the enemy, meaning guiding the missile towards the enemy. When you increase these radars, firstly, you make it difficult for the enemy to determine which one is the priority. Secondly, you have already sent 4 radars towards the enemy. So to speak, you are sending 4 signal wavelengths towards the enemy, and they can no longer deal with all 4. To put it better, they can't do it at all, or it's very difficult for them. As a result, what happens to the targeting of the defense system itself by enemy aircraft? It becomes more difficult. Of course, I'm not sure about what I'm about to tell you. I just heard some news came out. It's not very precise, but I heard that on the same night of the Israeli attack, Iran threw some of its defense rings. Also targeted an F-35 fighter jet, which crashed inside Iranian territory. And because the Americans had created the air corridor, they were able to find the crash site, clear the area, surround it, as they say, draw a red line for movement, and eventually remove the fighter jet. The fate of its pilot is also unknown. This is what has been heard, but it is not certain. I want to tell you that even on that night, apparently, and probably based on what we have heard, we even shot down a fighter jet. This point is very important. We accomplished this through the border defense rings, meaning the defense rings that are probably stationed in Bushehr province. We did this. Or the defense rings that we have in the western region of the country. Since this was not officially announced, we are not saying anything. Many things are not officially announced, but they have happened. And perhaps the Iranians, due to reasons and issues that could be both political and security related, also refrain from mentioning this. For example, military officials provide the information to high-ranking national and political officials, and they might say it's better not to disclose it. But apparently such an event has occurred, so just as they harm us, we can harm them too. Meanwhile, no one questions how, despite all their claims, they got hit by so many missiles and no one said anything. Then here, 4 radar systems were hit. And according to the statement of that famous British intelligence officer, Mr. Alastair Crooke, who made those famous remarks, he said that a second and third wave of attacks were supposed to happen, but the Iranians, through an unknown air defense system, that they surprised us by using it, meaning they surprised us, meaning they surprised the Israelis. The second and third waves of the attack didn't happen. Why don't you say this? Why do you only mention that one part? where they went and destroyed everything? You look for the parts where you want to humiliate, but you don't mention where you can praise. It's okay. This is how you are. This is how you are. When I say you, I mean you dear ones who are with us. See now, those who, well, now like to think that we are always miserable and unfortunate while they are powerful. I'm amazed. I moved a lot. Until the next video, for now.